Hi, this is Catherine Colbert here. This is my first time doing a video tutorial, so bear with me. Erin and I had talked, and we had decided, as I said in the blog post, that I would give a tutorial on how to do double exposures. So, to begin with, I have my two pictures that I want to use. So first off, I have a very underexposed photo of my son, and I have a picture of some fall leaves. Now, I was trying to find a better photo, but I don't know, if you're into photography, you probably take a ton of photos like I do, and even though I have them all organized, I can't remember when I have taken certain photos, so I knew what one I wanted to use, but yet I couldn't remember when I took it. So I tried going back to some of my old photos and still didn't find it. So anyway, I'm sure that there are quicker and easier ways to do this. I have an older version of Photoshop, I believe, yeah, CS5, and there may be now an actual function in Photoshop in which you can do a double exposure. But if you're like me and you don't want to upgrade and you want to stick with what you've got, you can go about it this way, so how I'm doing it is, because my second photo, so anyway, let me backtrack here for a second. My base photo, or my first exposure, is going to be of my son. And then what I want to do is I want to take my second photo and double expose it onto the first photo. So, like I said in the blog post, when you're thinking about exposures, and you think about it in the sense of the film, and if you're exposing the film, the parts that are underexposed, they're underexposed, so they're not fully exposed. So when you go and you do that double exposure, that's where those dark areas are where the second picture is going to come through best. The parts that are properly exposed or overexposed in your first image, there's no more, there's nothing left on that exposure, or at least not much, to then expose your second photo onto, or record your second photo onto. So you're not going to see that your second photo as much in those lighter areas. So I'm going to take my second photo, and because it's horizontal, I'm going to rotate it, and I'm going to do it counterclockwise. And my computer's slow. I need to update it, and I need to kind of clean it up a bit. But anyway, now I'm going to take this photo and I'm going to drag it onto my picture of my son, or my base photo, and therefore it comes in as a new layer. And this was taken with my older camera, so it's a smaller file size. I'm going to drag it out for right now, and let's see how this looks in a second here. Like I said, there might be more proper ways to do this, even in CS5. There might be. I guess I just haven't researched it a lot, and I just find this way to be pretty easy. But so I'm going to double click on that layer, and I'm going to choose a screen blend mode, and I like that. I feel like it does a fairly decent job of mimicking a double exposure. So if you look down here where I had overexposed the sky behind my son, the second photo didn't show through, because there was no, if it were an actual film exposure, there was nothing left to record because it was already used up, so to speak. But up here where the blue sky was, there was still some. Now you can see it on my son here, same kind of thing. You can see there's certain parts that are more clear versus others. So you can then take your opacity or opacity. I've heard people say both. I think I still have yet to learn the proper pronunciation. I guess I've always thought opaque, so therefore opacity. but I have heard opacity as well. So anyway, you can take it and obviously slide it to whatever you like. I kind of like it with the full, but I kind of don't like how the picture's lined up on my son. So you can always move it around. Of course, then you're going to have lines. But you can also adjust, like make your picture bigger and do that, which that's kind of interesting. And then what you can also do is you can take that top picture and make it into a layer mask, and then go and erase what you don't want. So say you wanted to do, go and erase some, which I have a hard brush, I should have done a soft one, but or say you wanted a little less on his face, so I could have actually done that instead of, so I could just kind of go in there and bring it down a little bit, let his face shine through or show through a little better, or anywhere else. I don't know if I like that, but anyway. So that's how I've kind of found to do it in Photoshop. Obviously, the possibilities are limitless. It depends on what two pictures you use. And like I said, you could try different blending modes. Overlay, I still, yeah, see, that definitely doesn't work. I mean, I think the screen, honestly, seems to be the best. To me, it just, from doing ones in my camera versus in Photoshop, screen seems to be the one that mimics a true double exposure best. Yeah, I mean, it's... So anyway, and then of course you'll want to merge your layers and then save your file. But anyway, so yeah, so that's how I have done my double exposures that I've done in Photoshop. That's how I've done them, is I've done that, putting your second picture as a new layer, and then changing the blending mode to screen, and then adjusting the opacity, and if needed, if you like that look, and then erasing any off that you would want to erase off. I tend to not do that just because I want it to be kind of true to a real double exposure. But I just showed you here so you could kind of see. So anyway, that I think is it. It's not that difficult. And like I said, I mean, you can try your own little things you want to try with it. And like I said, you can merge the layers and save. So once again, like I said, my computer's kind of slow. So, well, I hope you enjoyed that. And thank you so much, Erin, for having me guest blog. It's definitely quite an honor. So thank you very much.